Well, hey there, everybody. It's the Ken Braverman Pulse of the Market podcast. We're going to talk stock options. We're going to talk market volatility, different companies. The stock options algorithm file that we have here, it's a Microsoft Excel file that goes through all the companies, and it's pretty easy to update. It's really awesome now. I did a lot of work on it over the long weekend and trimmed down some of the companies that we look at. We only look at about 700 and yeah, we only look at about 750 now. Really got out some of the ones that we wouldn't consider investing in, some lower share price companies. And we're going to talk about movement for the day. And I got a lot to say. So let's have fun with it. This is the best idea of all the ideas I've ever done with money-making ideas and Microsoft Excel applications. When it comes to actually making nominal money, this is by far the best one I've ever come up with. And I'll explain as I keep doing these videos and focus on this area of short-term investing in the market and just kind of how to play volatility. So every day and also during the day, I will update and import all the companies and their current share price and some information about them and refresh this big, huge look at all the 7,758 companies on the NASDAQ and the Dow. There's a lot of them. Tells you how many advanced today, how many declined today. Today was a very close day. A little apprehension, but also some money wanting to come back into the market because debt ceiling deal in Washington looks like it's probably going through. People are talking about sort of having an agreement and trying to work it through Congress now. So not a bad day. There wasn't terrible news like there's no debt ceiling deal getting done. We haven't heard anything like that yet. And while the votes haven't taken place, so far it looks like smoother sailing right now. So if that goes through, you probably see more positive benefit on the market. But if there's still a monkey wrench that comes out of nowhere, that's going to be bad and things might move sharply in a different direction. So we'll see. Where did any of the money go today? Right? Like what, basically like where did the money pour into it all? Well, let's look at our options rank tracker, where we look at all the different companies and how far they moved today in terms of how far they need to move for us to start making money purchasing a call and a put on them at the same strike price, which is how you straddle a stock in stock options terms, which is a technical thing, which I'm not really going to get into in the podcast, but we're just going to talk about how companies moved today. And you'll start to see where money went and where money came out of. So first of all, Qualcomm has a day that's still semiconductor related there. So people realize that, yeah, Qualcomm's a big chip maker today, and they're the one that received the benefit and the money. They're up $6 essentially. Doing pretty well, really good rating. So they had a really good day. They moved a lot. Their options were only about $400 for the week. And they made more than that today. Okay. This Cloudflare company also did really well. I think might have seen them on Friday. I can't really remember, but they've got a good rating. I should learn more about them. This is just stuff that went up a lot today. Super microcomputer, I believe that's also semiconductor related. Crocs, I don't know what Crocs is doing on here. Should look up the news on that one. I went out and bought shoes with my son yesterday at all the Labor Day sales, and I insisted on going to Nike. See how Nike did. I was like, gotta wear Nikes. They feel good. As he is wearing Crocs. He wears Crocs everywhere. I'm like, I can't walk in those things. It's hardened rubber. It just, I don't want, whatever. Nike down, even though we bought some shoes there yesterday. But Crocs is way up. Weird. Now they are profitable. There's uncomfortable rubberness that is the Crocs are apparently really cheap to make, and their margins are great. So they do make good money. So to see them move up on top like this and move just about as much as they would need to move at $700 options is I guess that'll happen once in a while. So good for Crocs. PayPal is one that keeps showing up on the list in different directions and always looks like a good buy by the algorithm. They moved up today after they've been taking a beating. They actually go up today. Synopsis, Netflix. Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about Netflix. So Netflix, I said this was too expensive. And at a certain point today, I think they were actually up more than $16 a share at one point today. So you probably could have even sold it at a profit today. It's funny. I was thinking about Netflix and I was like, why do they have such staying power? Why do they recover? Like they lost some subscribers, or they mentioned a year or so ago, they were like, we lost some subscribers, they're having new content issues, or I don't know, that people were a little down on them for a while. They went down and then they just come roaring back. And I thought about something. I was like, oh yeah, I pay them still. I still pay for Netflix, even though I do not use it ever. But people in my life use it. I'm one of those people who lets people multi-account on my account. I'm like, please ban my account so I can stop paying for it. Like, I'm sick of it. So what happened was I was actually working on resetting it, and I canceled it at the end of like March or something, almost the last day of the month, I think it was. And the funny thing was, the people that used my account logged in and they pressed like resubscribe or redo it or whatever. So they're just billing off of my account, anybody who's using it. So Netflix is using the multi-accounting against me, and that it's preventing me from being able to cancel, which I thought was funny. I guess I'd have to change a password, which I have no idea what it is. So they're really good at keeping people, is the point. So that's why they start to go up. So good for them. Their options do all right. Twilio, we've seen Twilio multiple times in the last few weeks. Once again, they have a good day. They're not a huge share price company, but their overarching angle has been, I believe, back up, and they've been pulling this off somehow multiple times in the last couple of weeks. Activision Blizzard is something we talked about and I saw on this list. So, all right, so Tesla has a good day. Here, look how expensive their options are. They go up $8 and it still doesn't cover the cost of their options for the week. That shows you how expensive they are. And this rating is not even below 10%. Their rating is 16%. So anyway, let me go into the current ranking sheet and talk about what I did today, because I'm down today. Today, my stocks did not generally move in a good direction for me to sell today. Things kind of went back to my strike price if they had moved differently on Friday. It was not a good day overall for account value. However, I did sell one thing. It was this. I sold Kroger. I made a profit on Kroger. I think it was like a 25-30% profit or something. They just kept going down all day, and they kept showing us a good pick last week, and I think I got them on Friday, and there you go. It's like one day, and I've already profited, and I'm still holding a call on them if they decide to turn around before the end of the week. Anheuser-Busch. So I saw this on here, and I just keep seeing them going down, and they were actually the worst. They're at the bottom of this list. For example, if you look at companies that went down the most and things you would have liked to have had puts on, Target had a bad day too, huh? Interesting. Didn't see that. I didn't still have that anymore. I sold it and it was done with Target, but they have a bad day. Well, yeah, here people taking, what is it, trans hate? I mean, here, is there another one coming too? I think I saw an article about something. Procter & Gamble has been a good one as well. I shouldn't gloss over this. This has been a good one. Every time I've bought this one, I've had an easy time making money quickly. And here, once again today, down $2.44. It's like 72% of the way there. They've been overarching downward. So anyway, but let's keep going to the bottom because I want to talk about Anheuser-Busch. Look at how Anheuser-Busch moves almost twice as much as the cost of their options for weekly options. They move $260 essentially in intrinsic option value, and they only cost $133. I saw that halfway through the day and I was like, all right, I'm getting on the bandwagon here. I was like, I'll actually like buy a call and a put on them, because even though I probably only want to buy a put on them because they just keep going down. That's the issue, is they're never going up lately. It's a weird way to say that, but they have not shown any rebound from the mess that was caused. And I think that the reason why is apparently such a reliable base of their Bud Light drinkers and Budweiser, in general. So many of those people are going to be making politically incorrect jokes about trans people anytime anyone buys like Bud Light or Bud or something. Like, it's definitely Bud Light, right? Which was a biggie. Bud Light was a biggie. They thought that was such a big product that they're like, we can do anything we want. We want to branch out more Bud Light because that's our biggest seller or something like that. Boy, did they miscalculate that one. Wow. And they're just still suffering for it. And that's because I don't think that the jokes stop. I think anytime anyone in a podunk town shows up with a case of Bud Light, somebody goes, hey, did you have to, wear a dress over your balls to go buy that? Like, I think that's what comes out everybody's mouth. And unless you're trying to make a statement and make a joke, like, you don't go out and buy it anymore. That's what I think is going on. Just because, yeah. Now, that has a lot of different overtones in terms of like acceptance of other people's beliefs and the way that people want to represent themselves. But there's clearly a fracture there. And to take a hard line on one side of that issue, which I think has also been coming out with Target, because I keep hearing stories about Target and people doing proactive, I don't know, like pride merchandise nonsense pranks or something. I don't know what is happening. Point is, I do not think that being in this war is good for your company, because you accidentally get put on like a semi boycott list, sort of, if you act up in this space. So that's why you're seeing these companies down here getting pummeled. And so I was like, well, I can't say no anymore. Like, I'll just buy, I'll do the straddle strategy with them, because even though they're not that much of a share, like, this is screwing things up big time for them. Like, they're not recovering. And you would have seen some recovery already. It's been a slow bleed. So I don't know what they're going to do. Eventually, yes, eventually every story goes away, but we're still in short-term zone, I think, for them in that story, unfortunately. What else? All right, so let's go back to our current rankings list for a second, because even though I had a down day today, that's fine. Like, you're going to have down days early in the week. You just don't want to have down days late in the week. You want late in the week things to start to get into profitable zones. And so it was only the first day, even though it's a Tuesday, got a short week this week. So tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday are going to be big days for things. Let's talk about if anything moved and stuff that I've talked about and said to buy and everything else, right? Well, anyway, I picked up Anheuser-Busch. I'm already up a little bit on the put. We'll see what happens there. They were super cheap, so they don't have to move much. They're probably going to be all right. We'll see. Coca-Cola says to buy on here because it's super cheap. But they're not going to move that much because they're a lower share company. Same as Anheuser-Busch anyway. So don't expect to make massive profits on any of these, but expect to have more reliable chances at profiting on both of those. That's why they're there. Kroger already made money on. They keep going down for some reason. Apple, I said I was going to buy that. I did buy that today. I got it for, what did I pay? $350, I think I got them for. That expired this week. At a strike price of $175. That is what I got. They kind of hung out at like 177 or something all day. You can take a look at where they're at, but we'll see what happens with them. Says they do, they do move around enough to cover $3.50 movement. So we'll see if that happens. PayPal is now showing up here again, this time because of the upside. You can see how cheap they are. I didn't buy them today. Something maybe I'll consider for a new option period that goes out to like the 9th, June 9th. We'll start looking at those options on Wednesday, because it's now getting too late in the week to buy anything for this upcoming Friday, because you only got 3 days left essentially. Start Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So no real buying for this week is going to be going on, but we'll start talking about next week. So these prices are still showing this week's stuff. So we're just kind of reviewing what happened more today and not what we should do tomorrow necessarily. Qualcomm, yeah. I actually screwed this up, and I tried to buy both, and instead I only got the put, and they went berserk and went up another $2 after I bought the put. And so I am stuck now, hoping that Qualcomm goes down so that I can buy a reasonably priced call closer to my strike. I screwed this one up big time. I bought a put when they were at 3% up for the day. They're up over 5% for the day now. I screwed this one up big time. So I may be losing accidentally on Qualcomm by not getting into the strategy appropriately and getting them both at exactly the same time. Altria Group is cheap, but so is the share price. So not much money to be made there. Starbucks. Yes, let's talk about Starbucks, which was the #1 pick on Wednesday of last week. And I watched it today. It got very, very, very close. Got very, very close to being almost profitable, but didn't get there. They had another day where they're slightly down here, 82 cents, or down about 1% or something. Or yeah, they were down almost 1%. So they are still having a great rating on here. And they're so close. So they need to get to 97 or close to 97 for you to profit and get this to be more than $300 to sell the put. You still got 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So tomorrow being about a down day at some point could confirm a Starbucks profit for the week, and we'll see what that profit might be. And if they go down and you can sell the put, you still have the call in case they turn around and go up on like Thursday or Friday. So we'll be watching that, because that was one that I did mention as a number one in the video, and I want our number ones to hit. I know that Verizon is not on here anymore. I removed it because it's too low of a share price. That was a number one from last week as well. And I'm just going to say that was a number one, but it was a number one at a really low share price. And so it can only move so far. And I will track to see if it's profitable for the week. It's not profitable yet, but it's also not going to move enough that I wanted to be tracking those really low share prices. I did a lot of work here to remove stuff that doesn't necessarily pay financially and get into companies that are bigger movers nominally. Speaking of movers, Oracle, once again, another up day. They've been recovering in a weird way for a week or so, 2 weeks maybe. They do a nice movement of $1.32. I have Oracle as well, so that one's trying to move into profit. One of them's profitable, the other one isn't yet. So some of them is not profitable yet, but they will be. They're getting close. I didn't mess with eBay. It says buy it because it's cheap. I do have Amazon. They end up going up today. Not enough, but they move. And you can see that the Amazon cost, I got mine for less than 400. I got it for 300 something, I think. I think so. I'll have to check, but need this to move like more than $3 or so per day. I think it was a slower moving day almost for Amazon today. In a sense, so we'll see how that goes. MGM goes down. I have this. This hasn't moved enough yet, though. Has not moved enough. I need this to move another $1.50 or so by the end of the week. We'll see what it does. Mondelez, I used to have, don't have anymore. They're the big one that moves a lot compared to what they needed to. They moved $2.53. Did not have them. They showed up on this list last week as a good one to buy. And I had them, and I did not make money on them last week. Had you had them this week, you'd already be in profitable zone. So there you go. 1 week yes, 1 week no on Mondelez. Wells Fargo goes down a little, but it's cheap. That's why it's there. There's that Twillo again going up nicely. This Cloudflare showing up here. Procter & Gamble showing up here. This is the next one I'm thinking of going with for a later June 9th period. This one does pretty darn well. And it's because they're $140-something share company. They've got a higher share price and they're just not as expensive. This number is really good here, which is called the cost to price ratio. It's great. It's a really good number for them at 2.3. That's something we should be looking at. That's one of the reasons Procter & Gamble is a pretty good one for the next option period of June 9th. Let's see, Merck was there. All right. So those are things I wanted to, what are the ones that I own? Is there anything I want to talk? Oh yeah, Taiwanese Semiconductor. That one is not moving well. That's probably because that was a number one or number two. It was a TSM. Let's find them here. Yeah, it's Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturer. So they go down not enough. And yeah, I did pay like 400 and something dollars for this, and I've got it right around the 101, 102 strike price. So this is bad where they're just sitting around right here. And this is where I'm actually down most of what I'm down. A lot of what I'm down here today is this. So this has got to get off the schneid, essentially. It's got to get away from 101, 102. Like it's got to move $3 or $4 away from this because they can be such a big mover. Other companies like Qualcomm and stuff took this. They took a little bit down, just like AMD. AMD also went down. Let's take a look at the semiconductors here for a second. NVDA, of course, had a great day and beat their number, I think, today. Right? Now, they only went up $11. Their options still cost like $2,500. But they did go up. Yeah, see, down a little bit. TSM, Broadcom is the one that goes down. Not that bad. AMD goes down a little bit. Oh yeah, Marvel. So here, this is a really interesting situation. This was number one on Friday. I was lucky enough to buy and sell my call option of Marvel on Friday for a 5% net profit overall, meaning I bought a call and a put on Marvel. It cost me $399. And right at the close, I sold the call for $420. So I already netted 20 bucks on 400 invested, right? So that's 5%. Well, I also have a put still. That's the thing, is you still have another thing you bought, even though you made money on your transaction overall already. You have one thing left and it's got some time. Well, today the put shined because they went down by 3%. It's a $62 strike price put, so they're not even there yet. But there was a point today where actually they were there. And they were under $62 at one point, or just right about at $62. And that put was $200 I could have sold it for. So when I talk about taking a 5% profit on the first day overall, which is what I did, I'm not telling you about the part we're adding to that profit, which will be the additional profit when we sell the put. And we're selling the, I could have sold it for 200 bucks today. So we could have been up 220 on a $399 investment, which is more than 50%. It's like 55 or 60 almost. And that's how that's in 48 hours of market time, right? Like it's over a weekend and stuff, but it's from Friday to Tuesday. You can make more than 50% on your money at some point. That's why this was a #1 company on Friday in terms of its ranking, in terms of where it was in the list here. Now, where is it today? Today it shows up down here at it's got a bad ABS rank now. You know why? Because they only moved $2 today. Things have slowed down for them, and they're still $419, or at least they were. They're probably less than that now, but the price had essentially gone up. So things got, because they didn't move, they went up 30% on Friday, everybody. They went up 30%, not 330. Like, obviously there's going to be some movement in a direction and somebody's got to take a profit at some point. And so with the weird hesitation going on with market people not really sure to step on the gas or to slow down yet, this is how you end up getting a slight drawback in Marvel. Some people take a few profits. What do they do tomorrow? What do they do Thursday as more news comes out and things get solidified more in terms of debt ceiling, at least finalized? Is that enough confidence to make people blow in and buy them bunch again and they go way up? Or does something else happen and the market goes down and people pull back from certain things and the semiconductor profits get taken on AMD and on Marvel and even on NVDA, which has made a jump to $400 a share, everybody. That's over $100 a share up from where they were this place last week. That's nuts, but it's accurate in how the market works. So you'll see how everything looks like roses and great and awesome and straight up. Well, we'll see, because there's a jagged direction to everything. And when you own both sides of this, as long as you're buying the right companies, you will get the benefit when the movement happens. So I don't mind being down on a first day of the week. I don't want to be down on the last couple days of the week, because the days I do not want to have things go bad. First few days, things are starting to get assimilated and they're taking a direction, and you're just starting to accumulate more time and movement for the new week. So we're going to see what else happens, but I don't really have advice for Wednesday. Like I said, we don't have option periods for the 9th in here yet. You're now officially too late to buy options. If you want to expect a profit regularly doing this, you're too late to buy options for this week ending the 2nd. It is only 3 days. It's now too long. It's not long enough for you to, because it can go one way one day, the opposite way the next day, and then you're stuck on Friday if you think about 3 different ways that it can go on a given day. So it's too late in the week now. So I'll start entering in stuff for the 9th later tomorrow and for tomorrow's video. But I want to talk about the things I bought for the rest of the week. So in summary, things we're going to be watching: Taiwanese Semiconductor, Marvel, to see whether Marvel goes down or goes up tomorrow and if there's a significant movement. We're going to keep an eye on Starbucks to see if they can continue to go down. Some of the little ones are like Cisco and Comcast and Verizon and Citibank I have, and Walgreens. Those little guys that can't move that much to make too much money either way anyway. because they're smaller share companies, but I do have them. But keep an eye more on the Apples, the Amazons, and the things that popped up at the top of this list, because to see these guys up here, to see your Apples and your Amazons, and then I also have Google. Where's Google? I did buy Google today. It's the other thing I could finish with. Where's, oh, really? Alphabet? It's Alphabet. Alphabet. There we go. It's the regular Class A stock, I believe. Yeah, I bought it. I didn't pay $460. I paid less. Paid less than 400. So I don't know how I got that at a good price, but yeah, I guess the price changed. I got it at less than 400. I got it at $123 strike price, I believe. So we'll see. They're just, anything AI related is still moving, and all the big numbers are still moving. This is a whole lot cheaper than, for example, Microsoft's. That's the thing, is you only pay $400 for Google now, but look what you have to pay for Microsoft. Not Microsoft. You got to pay closer to $1,000. Now, this is also probably changed because they're not having their developer conference anymore, but it's where it was as of last week. So it was just twice as expensive. The cost ratio is 2.8 there, and it's different for Alphabet. For Alphabet, it's actually worse. Cost ratio is actually worse for Alphabet because Microsoft is more per share. That's why. All right. Well, maybe that's why it's more expensive. Listen to the algorithm there, but you can see how the algorithm does put Alphabet higher up on this list than Microsoft. So even though they don't have a super great number here at 33%, this is lower though. This is lower. This is actually like 400, which will lower these numbers, but I'll fix that all later. All right, guys. Good luck, everyone. I hope your trades worked out well today. We'll keep an eye on the market. It is fun to watch every day, and I certainly like watching how all this develops. And while we were down today, it's tough to have a down tomorrow when you start with a down day on the first day, because that would require like all those companies to not move at all. Because if they're going to move in either direction, I'm so wrapped around a few different strike prices right now with different companies that if anybody moves in any direction, that's going to result in profits in some of my options. So we'll see how Wednesday ends up being, whether Tuesday mixed day ends up being a Wednesday mixed day as well, or whether things start to take direction as more news develops. All right, good luck. May all your trades be volatile and everybody be winning.